It's time for fast pew pew lemon action with Mega Man X4 with Luiz. Miguel, take it away.
Okay, Luiz, you there, buddy?
All right.
There we go. Do you want to introduce yourself, or you want me to go first?
Yeah, my name is Luiz Miguel. I'm Mega Man X series speedrun. Today I'm gonna do X4, and I have here the seed and Hatfield 9, and they will do the commentary.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm here. I was more intended to do X 100%. Hetfield just knows this game back and forward and is really good with Zero stuff, so I'm going to be more color commentary, but I'll let Hetfield introduce himself.
I'm Hetfield 90. Speedrun 0.
I've got 2 mutes. All right. I think we'll do really good if we just work together on this and focus on the commentary. How are you feeling, Luiz? Ready to go?
So is it 0?
I believe it is.
It's 0.
All right.
All right.
No shooty pew pew, just slishy slashy. Got it.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. I guess you want to count them in so they can start the timer, and we can start off with the commentary.
You can do it.
Oh, you want me to count you in? I'll count up this. 7 to 0. So once we hit 0, we'll go 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, go. All right.
All right.
So, Hetfield, you want to start in on this since you know exactly what's going on? I know it's pretty simple, but I've got kind of a peanut brain, so I could use the help.
Yeah, so this is the 0 100% run. In this X game, this was the first game in the series where they made Zero a completely independent playable character. You could play them a little bit in X3, but in this game he has his own play mode where you play through completely as him, and the differences between him and X are pretty substantial in this game. X is a predominantly range damage dealer. He has his X Buster, and he has a unique weapon that he gets from each of the 8 bosses. Zero, on the other hand, has no Buster in this game. I believe it's the only X game where he doesn't have one. And he uses the Z-Saber as his main weapon. And from bosses, he gets various saber techniques that get added to his base kit, as well as some movement mechanics and other things of that nature.
Yeah, Zero is an all-tech character. X is a long range. I'd say like the easiest way to put it is X is basically a easy like beginner mode, and Zero, at least at a casual level, is the hard mode for the game. You have to get very close and end up bonking a lot on enemies and lose a lot of health pretty quickly. But once you put Zero in the hands of a professional, he'll rip bosses apart like this.
Yeah, so this first boss, the intro boss, is pretty straightforward, Edobean. The only thing that Luiz needs to watch out for is when he's deciding his second action, Luiz needs to make sure he's a certain distance away from the boss, otherwise he'll fly off screen. So you're going to be seeing Luiz do a lot of back and forth movement here. That's just to make sure he's behind the trigger in order to dodge the fly off the screen attack.
Oh, that's very interesting. There's a couple of bosses that we have to do the same thing. The AI, I guess, sounds pretty simple, as long as you know what it does, huh?
Yeah. So here we're meeting Colonel for the first time. He's the Colonel of Reploforce, which is some other faction of Reploids that is being manipulated by Sigma in order to do some nefarious things.
And the question is, when is it not?
Sorry?
Hold on. Am I still streaming? My power flickered for a second there. Sorry about that. It's totally turned my brain off.
So here we're, I can still hear you, Sid. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that was very weird. Okay, so I guess, go ahead.
So here we just got introduced to the 8 Mavericks. They're also members of the Repliforce, being led by that Colonel guy and some other people. The first one here, Stingray. Stingray can kind of be done at almost any order in the run. Doing him later rather than earlier makes the fight easier, but it doesn't make it any faster. And so Luiz does it early in the run just to get an RNG reset point out of the way, but just doing the same route and as his PB attempts for consistency's sake. This bike section is sort of infamous in the run. It's very easy to die here. The fastest form of movement that you can do is jumping up off the ground and then doing an air dash back toward the ground. But once you do it...
Oh no! The committal! Ah!
Yeah. What I was kind of getting to explain there is...
I don't like this. This is why
the curse is real.
Yeah. If one of your air dashes happens at a different place than you're used to, you're completely locked into that animation. So if there's a wall or a pitfall coming up, you're going to not live to.
Yeah, just take it a little slow at the end, Luiz. We don't worry about the speed. Let's just keep it going. It happens sometimes. Everybody messes up. There you go. You got it this time. These stages are like deceptively simple when you watch a speedrunner do it, and you really take for granted how hard they are until you see a speedrunner mess it up, and you're like, oh, you can actually die here, huh? That's a thing that speedrunners do actually do. So
Fortunately, the second half is not nearly as risky as the first half.
Yeah, like the only way to die here is to get yourself crushed by accident trying to pick up the upgrade item at the end. But if you're used to it, this half of the stage is much less risky than the first half. But for the most part, the other reason is Stingray is pretty awful too, because you want to get like a good pattern. And there's the item I was talking about. Sometimes you can go to jump for that and kind of fall out of your air dash and get crushed by the blocks. Not very common. They are nice enough to give you the HP heal, but Luiz is good enough. He's not going to need that, so we're just going to hop on in here and cut through this guy's health.
So there's 3 main attacks that we're going to be seeing out of Stingray here. Just 2 different attacks in the first half. He can either shoot these little Stingrays out and then dive, or he can just dive. You want him to shoot the Stingrays out at least twice, and then for his third attack, it can either be... a dive or a third Stingray. Ideally, it's just a dive, but once he gets below half health...
this is amazing.
Some very unfortunate RNG here. Once Stingray gets below half health, you can dip down into the water. So this is just about the worst possible RNG that Luiz can get. You want him to...
Yeah, pause.
This is amazing.
This is a marathon run, 100% certified. All right, no more deaths. We're good. 0 lives to go. We're not activating the EX tank, man. Come on.
This RNG was amazing.
Very, very rare. That was pretty much Murphy's Law level RNG.
Yeah. And you can kind of see why Luiz wants to come here first in his just regular attempts, so he can see that and be like, yep, nope, I'm out. Let's try again.
Yeah.
Some of these bosses, a lot of these Mega Man fights end up with some pretty nasty RNG that's like very subtle that you may not catch without knowing about them. And that's what a good fight looks like.
Yeah. That was the best RNG.
Yeah, that's the pattern we want to be seeing. Once he dips down into the water there, you're able to use the SDC or / cancel technique, which the way it works is when Zero uses his combo slash, normally whenever you hit a boss in a Mega Man X game, it induces immunity frames on the boss, usually for a second, sometimes more or less, depending on which attack you're using. But with Zero's combo slash, only the third slash induces immunity on most bosses. And the reason for that is because they wanted the player to be able to hit with all 3 hits in the combo. But if you dash to cancel your combo, you can just keep using the first slash or the first 2 slashes sometimes over and over without ever giving the boss iframes and just mash it down in a matter of seconds like you saw right there.
Yeah, it's a pretty ingenious way to make it work casually. So we get to completely exploited as speedrunners, realizing that that's their workaround to making the full combo work. So it's a pretty nice trade-off. Keeps it working casually, and then it also gives us a nice point of abuse to make the game kind of crumple under a little bit of pressure. That's kind of what turns Zero into like a damage machine. As long as you can keep your spacing properly, Zero can shred. But as you can tell, it's because you're a close range fighter, people like, or just the bosses in general, I mean, can have very awful patterns that will, you're just at their mercy, unfortunately. Oh, nice.
Yeah, nice first try jump up to the heart there. About halfway through Dragoon stage here. This is the first stage where order really matters. The Ryu engine, it's the attack you get from Dragoon is probably one of the most ubiquitous attacks in the run. It's useful on pretty much every stage except for like 1 or 2 stages. And in the fight here, Dragoon is kind of like the Ryu or the Ken from Street Fighter. He can use the Hadoken and the Shoryuken.
Yeah, he's like...
and if he does the Hadoken, Luiz is going to want to dash into him in order to get shorter knockback.
Yeah.
But he did not get that attack. Instead, he got the Shoryuken.
We got some of it. There we go. Got a little bit at the end there. Game decided to help us out. This boss is pretty interesting. It's really funny, like some of the patterns and, you know, the attacks that like are full screen, you'd be like, oh, this is the worst thing. It's actually what we want to see most of the time because we can find... There's a very small window where you can stand behind the boss and just kind of blast into them relentlessly and just watch them, their HP just...
I love the Hadouken and Shoryuken Easter eggs.
Yeah. So we're going next to Cyber Peacock, and this stage is like supposed to be a speedrun stage. The whole thing is the game wants you to like get through these little areas as quick as possible. And whenever you S rank each one of these individual areas, you get an item. Normally you would get the head part here for Mega Man X. But since we're not, we're going to get a nice one-up so that hopefully we won't have to spend that anywhere else. Please don't let this be a curse.
Yeah, this stage is pretty straightforward movement-wise. It's basically impossible to get A rank on anything doing speedrun strats. I don't think I've ever seen a runner get an A rank before.
Please don't say it.
Uh-oh.
I mean, commentator curse is a thing. I don't think it's that powerful.
Well, as long as I'm not the one saying it, we should be fine. I seem to manage to make the curse manifest faster than ever. So we get a heart tank. I believe the other pickup's a sub-tank in here, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, one of the main differences collection-wise between X and Zero is that X, in addition to getting the, like, E energy weapon tanks and hearts, he also has to get body armor parts from capsules left behind by Dr. Light. Zero, on the other hand, was built by Dr. Wily, so he has no such armor upgrades to collect.
No upgrades because he's perfect as is. So yeah, that is like the nice thing about X. His upgrades in this game are actually, all of them are really good. Even the alternate buster. You get to stock a bunch of charge shots with the one that you normally use in a speed run. Your head cannon will reduce your regular shot and weapons from bosses to free. So basically, you can just use a bunch of charged weapon shots instead of the uncharged ones. And then as long as you leave 1 energy, you can spam those infinitely. The air dash boots are probably like the most like meh. You get an air dash and a hover. The hover makes the final Sigma fight a lot easier. And then the body armor gives you Giga Strike or Nova Strike, which is ridiculously powerful. Like X's upgrades in this game are fantastic.
So Peacock, I think, is one of the few bosses who can't be SDC'd. There's 3 different attacks he can do, and Luiz will be able to tell which one he's going to do based on where he teleports. If he teleports just next to X, he'll be able to get an air slash in before the Ryu engine. If he teleports on top, he has to just do a Ryu engine to interrupt his pattern. And the pattern Luiz is hoping for is this one that we're seeing right here. The air slash does 3 damage to Peacock, but induces shorter iframes than the Ryu engine, so you can just spam it over and over.
Yeah, we're seeing the marathon level boss RNG right now.
That was decent. I'd say that was an average Peacock RNG.
Right, I believe you. If you tell me it's reasonable, it looks reasonable to me now.
Yeah.
So I think next up is a split mushroom. We'll have an elevator stage at a little bit into it, so we can do some donations. But right now, we'll talk a little bit about how there's a very, very rough vertical platforming segment coming up, and X, it's a lot easier to get through some of these areas. Zero does have some tools to do it, but X has a few more tools just because kind of the way he's kitted out, and he comes to split mushroom last, I believe. So he has everything except for spear body, or pretty close.
Yeah, this stage I would say is probably the hardest stage as far as movement goes. The vertical platforming is really precise, and there's a lot of enemies that you have to weave your way through in the process.
Yeah, even casually, this place will give you a lot of pushback, even when you're not trying to get through it as quickly as possible. Even though that ends up being the best solution, is to just try and get through this stage as quickly as possible, honestly. A lot of these enemies hit hard, hit fast, and they're all in the way. So you got
really nice climb there from Luiz.
Oh yeah, that climb was fantastic. So if you're seeing this mini boss for the first time, I guess you haven't seen any Zero speedruns, because X just skips this guy all the time. So we're actually gonna have to deal with him.
And Luiz is abusing his own iframes to be able to stand on these fights, which are usually insta-kill. And with that, he's able to do Ryu Engine and follow it up, keeping the saber in the hitbox the whole time.
Yeah, what is basically ends up being a Shoryuken can be pretty powerful and is a lot of utility in some of these stages.
Mm-hmm. One thing I forgot to mention about the Ryu Engine and with X's fire attacks as well is that, or his charge fire attack, is that they do damage per frame, and mini bosses don't have iframes. So once you use that, if your saber stays inside its hitbox, you just shred it instantly.
Yeah, it's the best way to take care of all the the obnoxious mini bosses. So we got a pretty long elevator here. We can probably fit in a couple of donations, unless you got something to say, Hatfield.
Nope.
All right, we have a $25 donation from Sub Silver that says Mega Man X4 Run Hype. We also got a $250 donation from Anonymous that says, donated during Mega Man X4 as it is my favorite game of all time, and I'm happy to see it ran during another GDQ. Zero's cutscenes incentive when? Been watching and supporting GDQ for years, but now this year is extra close to home now, as my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer a few months ago. Rather bittersweet, but thanks to early detection, we also found another cancerous growth in her thyroid, which does give us time to tackle it. She is the strongest woman I know, though, and have no doubt she'll speedrun her fight, victory, and recovery. Thank you to GDQ and PCF for all your work, and I look forward to the rest of the marathon.
I'm glad you detected that early. Thanks for sharing with us. So we're gonna switch back over to Split Mushroom here, who's splitting all over the place. You want to give a quick explanation, Hetfield, before we kill him?
Yeah, the first fight here is pretty straightforward. You just, whichever one's sparkly is the real one, and you just repeatedly hit him with air slash. That's basically the whole fight.
Yeah, a lot of these bosses kind of cycle between having to fight them in a really unique way and melting them with a SDC.
So the technique that Zero gets from Split Mushroom is called the Kouenzan. It's actually two techniques in one, or I guess Kouenbu in the English version. He gets a double jump, but in addition to that, his normal air slash that you've been seeing gets replaced completely by a new air slash that's like a circular pizza cutter looking slash.
If you've ever seen the X8 run, that's the air slash they use to fly to the moon.
Yeah. And it's sort of a double-edged sword because it does less damage to some bosses per instance than the normal air slash, but it does damage per frame. So against mini bosses or against bosses with glitched iframes, you can do a ton of damage. So the Slash Beast fight, or stage here, something we didn't mention is that in this game, Zero has hit lag with most of his saber slashes, which is just like a mechanic that they decided to throw in the game. Just to give it like a slow motion effect, I guess.
Yeah. Basically, whenever you hit something, it kind of slows the game down. It's called hit lag because it feels like the game's lagging, even though it's not. They're purposefully slowing it down to kind of give you a cinematic feel.
Yeah, and that's why you see Luiz taking a lot of intentional damage when there's really high densities of enemies. It's because he just wants to take damage from one of them and then leverage the immunity he gets from that in order to pass through the next several enemies.
Yeah, bonking through is much quicker than trying to kill. You can kind of see it really bad here. That's the quickest way to deal with that mini boss.
Yeah, what he was doing there was he was turning around whenever he was upside down in the Kuenbu slash, and that allows him to keep his saber facing the same direction, and it's actually really hard to time in the middle of all the hit lag that's happening from your repeated instances of damage.
Yeah, because as you can tell while he's doing the normal jumps, it kind of cycles around him. So he has to kind of spin back and forth to keep the back of the blade hitting what he wants. It's a pretty interesting technique. It looks really cool, but like Hetfield said, it's pretty hard to hit the inputs without kind of like whiffing too many.
And this train that he was just on, as well as the first one and the first half of the stage, are based on background cycles, so it's kind of like an auto-scroller, but
that's very interesting that the background art determines whether you get to go to the next part fast or slow.
Yeah.
That seems pretty rough.
So the Slash Beast fight, there's pretty much nothing to this fight strategy-wise. Luiz is just going to basically tank every hit that Slash Beast throws at him, so he can just use iframes to stand next to him in SDC. There's one attack that he'll want to dodge, and that's this one right here, where he, well, I guess you don't have to dodge it, but...
Yeah. As you can tell...
I tried.
Yeah. Hitting a fast rhythm and the proper rhythm for SDC is quite hard and can be pretty rough on the hands unless you're doing it properly. You can kind of tell from the amount of noise that you're hearing. That's Luiz trying his hardest to kill this boss every time.
Yeah, the SDC technique, it's more complicated than just simple mashing two buttons as fast as possible, alternating. If you mash too fast, at least like going from saber to dash input, the saber doesn't extend out far enough and you won't actually hit the boss. So you need to do it as quickly as possible without, while still paying attention to the rhythm that you're using in order to make sure your sabers are going out far enough.
Yeah, if you're familiar with X3, it's kind of the same idea where you got to make sure you make contact. So some of the speedrunners will turn around and hit with the back end of the saber when they swing it to save a couple of frames. You need to make sure you're going to make contact, and the saber takes a while to extend in this version, so you kind of can't cheese it out like that.
So this, on Cross Walrus' stage now, this is another stage with some really difficult platforming. This upgrade that we're about to see Luiz get is the X tank, it gives you extra lives after you game over, so hopefully it's not going to see any use in this run. But it's one of the reasons why this stage has to be done so late, which is unfortunate. A really nice frame-perfect hyper dash there from Luiz. He let go of forward the exact frame that he hit a slippery surface, which allowed him to slide at dash speed, and then he did another dash to get even more dash speed on top of it.
Yeah, with a lot of the Mega Man X games, you can get some really wonky physics on ice, and kind of just.
Oh my god!
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, this is another really annoying RNG boss here. Well, mini boss. There's 3 attacks that he can do, and the only one that's, well, I guess there's 2 where he clamps like that. But Luiz got really unlucky there. Here we're going to see the Shipuga, which...
Alright, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that Shipuga, the dash attack that Luiz got from a Slash Beast. This is the only place it's useful in the run, but it's really good at destroying the blocks that are ice blocks that are below you.
Oh yeah, I think speaking of, like, we kind of dashed over, or glazed over the dash at the very beginning. The reason you're seeing Luiz like kind of jumping everywhere and avoiding dashing as much as possible is there's actually like a long startup of, what is it, like 7 frames for a dash. So if you hold down dash and jump, you'll get dash speed in the jump, but you won't have to deal with wasting that 7 frames. It feels like just a small amount if you're saying 7 frames at it, but you have to remember that's every single dash, and that adds up really quick over even a shorter, speed run like this, quote unquote.
So Frost Walrus's weakness here, being an Ice Maverick, is of course the fire attack, the Engine. And you basically, just hit him with it a couple times. Right here he gets an iframe reset when he changes his animation. And then here Luiz is doing a backwards Engine in order to get less hit lag.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I was speaking with earlier with X3, where they hit with the back of the saber. He's just tapping it with the back of the hitbox and then flying out of the boss so it doesn't do that cinematic slowdown.
Mm-hmm. And now Luiz is getting the Hyoretsu's on. It's like a downward ice spike that you can use in the air. It would have been nice to have this weapon on Web Spider stage because it can actually hit that mini boss through the platform, but unfortunately you can't do that in this route without having to do an insanely precise, basically task-only jump to get that X-Tank we saw on Walrus's stage.
Yeah, the split mushroom mini boss can be quite the pain in the butt if you, depending on your route. 100% usually ends up meaning you got to take a lot of like bad fights just to optimize not revisiting a stage that takes forever to go through. And a lot of time it ends with you having to take some really silly RNG choices because you just want to, for a fact, hey, this will take me 30 more seconds if I have to go there instead of here. So I have to risk that 30 seconds on these like 2 or 3 fights and do them in a really silly way. This movement's pretty good for Web Spider stage though. Really nice off-screen movement there, especially not getting that wall jump at the very end after the waterfall section. That's when you know your movement is good there. Oh yeah, this is some crispy movement. I'm loving it. So one of the things too is you also, when they do split the stages into 2 areas, it's actually pretty nice when you're learning this game because it refills your HP in between stages, if I'm remembering correctly. So you can kind of tank some bonks in the first half, going into the second half, and muscle your way through the game a little bit more until you get better familiar with it when you're learning to speedrun it. Or even just casually, it's nice to have that refill.
So here Luiz is taking a slight shortcut, also getting that heart that he needed to get. That's another one of the benefits of Engine is that it can burn these logs, or trunks, I guess.
Yeah, that's why we had to go to Magma Dragoon before we came here.
So here's probably the hardest trick in the run up to this point, or maybe even the hardest trick in the run. So we're going to let Luiz focus here, and I'll try to explain it afterwards.
Yeah, this would be somewhat free with X in the boss rush, but you can't do anything like this in the first loop with X. Zero can.
Alright, this is about as bad of RNG as possible as you can get. So,
yeah, this is impossible.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it, just finish him off.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it happens, man, don't worry about it. If you get really lucky and manage to hit the inputs properly, you can multi-hit him with the spin slash over up the top of the screen because his iframes get kind of buggy up there. So you can melt through all his HP, but it is very hard because you have to get the right pattern and you have to hit all the back and forth twists as well. With all that hit lag while you're off screen, it's really hard to hit.
Yeah, and in order to do it, the spider kind of needs to drop down close to the wall, but not like right up against it, because you need to do some wall jumps to get up next to him. First time he came down was right in the middle of the room, and then the next 2 times he came down was right up against the wall, so just completely...
Could not have been worse positioning if the game had tried.
Yeah.
So we're gonna head into Storm Owl. This first part of the stage is a pretty straightforward. We can just take the mech through and just kind of nuke everything, so we can get in a donation or two.
Definitely. We have a $50 donation from Zero that says, the X4 run has already started. No, this isn't happening. There's no reason for me to go on. What am I donating for? That was a great donation. And then we also have a $25 donation from Thomas BB that says, Mega Man X4 is the best. Vamos, Luiz Miguel.
Yep, he's trying his hardest. The game is not wanting to give him maximum velocity, though. It do be like this with speedruns, unfortunately, but he's doing the best with what he's got for sure. So normally we'd have like a pretty tight movement section here with X. This is where you would actually get the Buster upgrade, and it's a pain in the butt to get, since you have to like try not to headbutt the spikes as you use Web Spider's web to jump up. If we get we're getting pretty good hits. Oh, so close.
Yeah, that's a really tight one cycle there. Basically, your turnarounds on the Wendu need to be basically perfect, and your timing of your slashes need to be almost perfect as well.
Yeah, Zero can do a ton of damage. He seems deceptively easy when you watch a speedrunner, but once you get your hands on him, you kind of realize like how tight the inputs for him are, to the point where it's not so free.
So Owl here has glitched iframes where he doesn't actually take iframes when you hit him with the third slash, which is why Luiz is able to do so much damage to him with those third slashes, as long as you don't trigger his shield with one of your first two slashes. And then the Raku Hoha attack that he got from Peacock it's kind of like an epicenter attack where Zero shoots these petals out, but the closer the boss is to Zero, the more petals hit him, so the more damage it deals. So, really nice fight from Luiz there.
Yeah, it's about as close as Zero gets to an ultimate attack. I guess they were kind of like, well, how are we going to give him a Giga attack? And it's like, no, we can't. So the best they could give him is a couple of full screen shots. They give you exactly 4. Which can help clearing out a group of enemies, or can be useful in some of the...
He's getting edge guarded by the grenade guy.
that was... Oh boy. This game can give it to you sometimes, but Luiz managed to pull it out, despite it trying its hardest to kill him. A lot of the movement in here is pretty tight, and if you get bonked in the wrong way... This is some really great climb, though. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Neat movement trick there, where after he got hit midair, it reset his double jump, so he was able to do a triple jump in the air. So now we're going to finally fight Colonel. We actually fought him in a skipped cutscene before that X normally has to fight, but Zero doesn't. Luiz is going to be using the Hyoretsuzan here, which is Colonel's weakness, and every time Colonel changes his pose, his iframes actually reset, so you can usually get double hits on him, but sometimes even triple hits. I'm not quite sure what parameters need to be met in order for those to happen, but they do happen sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of these fights are a bit more straightforward with Zero. X kind of can end up taking a lot longer, because you have to kind of like, some bosses you have to hybrid between charged shots and boss weapon and charged boss weapon. And some of the weapons come out pretty slow, so even though it ends up being faster, it kind of feels a little sluggish. Meanwhile, Zero, it's all killer, no filler. You're just basically playing as hard as you can the whole time.
So now we're in outer space. Final weapon, which I guess is going to shoot a giant laser beam at Earth or something, but...
Yeah, no Enigma this time, thankfully.
Iris, the Colonel's sister, is not too happy about you killing the Colonel, so now she's going to... Now she's going to try to take revenge.
She's got the orb.
The orb. So she gets this really kind of weird robot that like you half want to play and use because it looks pretty cool, and then you realize, I actually don't want to play with this because this thing is really annoying to kill.
In this fight, Luiz is doing 2 air slashes and then a Ryu-Engine. The Ryu-Engine does more damage, but if you use it while you have iframes, you just go straight through her and just cause a bunch of hit lag. So Luiz has to alternate his attacks there, so he only uses it when he can bonk her hitbox to interrupt it.
Just a crumb of the cutscene, just a little bit. Sorry guys, just a very little bit. That's all we can get.
The infamous Zero, what am I fighting for cutscene.
Yeah. If you are familiar with this game, I'm sure you already have it imprinted in your memory. So all you needed was just that little bit, and you can remember the whole thing by heart. You don't even have to see it anymore. You can see it in your mind's eye.
So, now we have the general fight. Based on how the RNG has been so far in this run, I think we can already have kind of an idea of what's going to happen here. General control you by floating across the room, which wastes 10 seconds thereabouts each time, and he can do it twice. Or he can just shoot his fists out, which is the optimal pattern. So Luiz is unfortunately getting the bad RNG. Sorry for the curse there, Luiz.
I was over here saying, this is all RNG manipulation for a good fight. That's all this has been. Just RNG. No.
No. Oh God.
What is RNG? I don't even. This makes no sense. I wish he did this to me casually. Free fight. The speedrun, you're just like, this is pure suffering.
So this is the pattern that we wanted to see at the beginning of the fight. Once he puts his fists there, you can just stand there and hit him with SDC. And he even has glitched iframes on your normal slashes and takes damage per frame, so your SDC hits even harder than against normal bosses, as long as you do it with a slower specific rhythm.
It makes me think the developers never managed to ride the hand over to the boss to actually hit him to check it.
Every time.
Yeah, that's how this game is. Every time you do a run for yourself, you can actually get some decent RNG, and it doesn't feel like everything is against you. You do a marathon run, and the game's like, all right, good, it's time for me to earn my bread. I got to get my money now. It's time for you to pay.
So the Dragoon refight is basically the same as the first fight. The only difference is that he's going to be wanting to dodge the Shoryukens instead of tanking them, because he has to conserve hit points for the rest of the boss rush. We're getting a very good pattern, the Fire Breath attack.
Fine.
Double Fire Breath, very nice.
Okay, are we going to see a legendary level boss rush here, or is this just a 1 out of 8 and the rest of them are going to be awful?
We'll see with the, let's see if Spider is kinder this time around. So he's going to get a second chance, hopefully, at the quick kill here.
Yeah, second bite at the apple, but it once again, it depends on if the game decides to give him the spacing he needs to do it. You can get some kind of close. If he's too far away, you can get a couple of extra hits, but if he's right next to the wall, it's just... Yeah, this is the boss. Oh, nice.
Got a little bit of it there. Unfortunately, Spider was too far away, and Luiz wasn't able to get full damage in. So once Luiz hit Spider as he was going off the screen, it glitched out his iframes, and you're able to deal damage to him per frame when he's off screen. Unfortunately, as soon as he leaves the screen, he respawns above the next position where he's going to come down, and that kind of needs to be right next to where Zero was in order to get the quick kill. But there he was just too far away, so Luiz was able to get a little bit of damage glitch, but not enough to get the skip the desperation attack where he turns invulnerable for 10 seconds.
Yeah, I got that phase shift. That's the unfortunate reality with some of this stuff. It's all or nothing. Getting some of it is nice, but really what you're trying to avoid is that animation starting up the second phase of the fight. And another, I guess we're just going to see this all day from Peacock, huh?
Well, the Peacock refight is different from the first fight. RNG doesn't really matter here because you lost your normal air slash. The Kuenbu only does 2 damage compared to the original air slash's 3 damage, so...
I see.
Yeah, this fight doesn't really matter. You just RNG, you just spam your engine. And the next two boss fights, Stingray and Slash Beast, are basically exactly the same. So I think we have time for a donation or two.
All right, we have a $50 donation from Rex Ammo that says, "What am I fighting for? X4 is my favorite game. Shout out to my little brother, Jason." We also have $100 from the Sound Defense that says, "What am I donating for? Oh, I just checked the prices currently on offer. That's what I'm donating for. Thanks, GDQ."
Probably can do a few more.
All right, I have a $25 donation from Red Dread 13 that says, "I was debating if I should donate right now. Zero answered for me with, yeah, ha, yeah, wall, yeah." So here you go. Amazing run so far. Let's keep it up.
It's so easy to forget that on our end as commentators because we're just kind of listening to each other and not the game audio as much. Like, oh, that's right. That's a thing that happens when you SDC. I think we can fit in one more.
Gotcha. We have a $500 donation from J Lone that says, "Thank you for being there and bringing so much entertainment, all for a noble cause." I could just hear the mashing.
Yeah. That's pure skill, ladies and gentlemen. That's pure skill. Nothing but skill. I tell you what, you try and do that on your own, and you're just like, how do people do this? And it's
so
go ahead.
This next fight, the split mushroom fight, is the fight that's most different from the first iteration, and it's probably the most difficult refight. Since you don't have the normal air slash, the Kuenzon deals less damage, but you do have Split Mushroom's weakness, which can stun Split Mushroom, and it can destroy these rainbow illusions here. So it significantly changes the second half of the fight. Luiz is going to be using more ground slashes and the Raijin Geki attack here, which he can actually combo into his combo slash in order to give it a faster animation. And a nice fight from Luiz there. If you get enough of the preliminary slashes in, you can actually kill Mushroom before he combines back together like that, but Luiz was just one or maybe two hits off there.
Yeah, look, he was very close.
And Walrus and Owl are also the same as their first encounters, so I think we have time for some more donations.
Definitely. We have $100 from Bruno Fight Master that says, "Mega Man X4. Shout out to Luiz Miguel for running my favorite Mega Man game of all time. Put half the donation to getting Mega Man as the character. Sorry about that. And the other half to Super Monkey Ball. Good luck, Luiz." We also have $100 from Rosian, I hope I pronounced that right, that just says, "I wonder what kind of pizza Zero likes."
Luiz not going for the health upgrade here, liking to live dangerously.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Why not? We got to make up for all that bad RNG somewhere, right? We're definitely not inviting any sort of disaster. Luiz can do this, I have faith. Ooh.
Really nice.
Nice.
All right, nice.
Getting some really high damage Rakuhas in there. You don't take damage when you're doing the animation, so ideally you want Owl to float like right on top of you when you're doing it in order to get the max damage.
Yeah, more or less. You're trying to bait him into taking all of the petals. It's not something that usually happens, but it can, just not very likely. So we're heading into the final couple of fights with Sigma. Luckily, we get a full recharge, so we don't have to bother with any of this stuff. We can pick this stuff up to put it into the tanks, though, so there's no reason not to grab it because we don't get any slowdown from it filling up. It's better to have some extra HP in the tank with Zero because you kind of have to live dangerously with these fights.
The Sigma fights have 3 phases. This first one's really straightforward. You can only deal damage to him with fire attacks, so for Zero, that's a Ryuan gene. The only main thing you need to worry about is that when you transition him to phase 2, you want him to be in the very center of the room, because that's where he's going to be starting phase 2. So Luiz gets a good position here. He's going to be able to just stand right here and get some SVC in.
Yep. Mash.
Nice Rakuho high animation to dodge the scythe. Here he baits it to the wall. This determines what attack Sigma does here. It gets that lightning current off the ground and gets him to do I-beams instead of a much harder to dodge boomerang attack.
All right.
Now going into phase 3, this is probably the biggest RNG point of the run and has one of the hardest, if not the hardest, quick kill in the run. There's going to be 2 different Sigmas that he has to fight here. This cannon Sigma, which he's hoping for a specific attack from, as well as a Sigma on the ground, which he's going to hope for another specific attack from in order to get a quick kill. So hopefully Luiz gets a pattern where he sucks in air.
There we go. You end up taking a ton of hits here, which is why you want to make sure you grab the extra health if you can get it in your tank and not into Zero.
Yeah, there was an unfortunate trajectory on one of the junks that he was spewing out there that hit Luiz when he was doing his SSDC, which prevented him from getting the quick kill. He does get the good RNG on the other head, which allows him to get the 1 cycle on that one.
And there we go. So
time down.
Time will be in a moment here when he stops moving. As soon as he jumps up to this ledge and starts talking to the general, that will be when time is.
And time.
All right.
Well, that was a run, wasn't it, Luiz? Game was not giving you any slack, huh?
That was a really run.
Yeah.
The X4 run, at least compared to the earlier titles, has a significantly larger degree of time that you can lose to RNG, and the game was not very kind to Luiz today.
Yeah, especially when Zero has a bunch of execution on top of needing good luck with that execution. So it adds a lot of pressure when you're doing this in a marathon, to the point where okay, well, are you going to give me the thing? No, fine, I'll just kill you. The old-fashioned way. It's quite unfortunate, but it was a very good run overall.
Looks like the time was 44:54.
It's with an estimate.
Well,
44:54 was the time.
Yeah, that's fine, I guess. I hope you enjoy
You
it.
guess.
Yeah, that's Luiz. He's pretty hard on himself. He's a really good runner, does a lot of Mega Man X stuff. If you're okay with some Brazilian chat, and him speaking mainly in Brazil, Portuguese, you can check his channel out. He does Mega Man X stuff all the time. So if you want it, that's where you can get it every day.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy. Thank you, Sid and Hatfield, for the commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. And I see you guys sometime. And see ya.
Yep. Yeah, Hetfield doesn't really do much on Twitch, but you should follow him anyway, because every once in a while when he shows up, he does some cool stuff. I'm doing some Metroid Dread, some X3 PlayStation 1 stuff, and mainly Final Fantasy VII Remake. Thanks you guys for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope you can check Luiz out at the very least. Sure.
What an amazing run by Luiz Miguel. But stay tuned, because we are going to be having an amazing run after for Psychonauts 2 Any Percent by It's Bytes. You do not want to miss it. Do not want to miss it. We got a couple of donations that I need to read that I didn't get a chance to catch. The Luigi Guy, thank you for $101.01 donation that says, what are we fighting for? Clearly for a great Mega Man X4 run and plenty of support for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Good luck to Luiz on the run. Kurokai Okami, thank you for $5, saying, it's not much, but I just had to donate for the fantastic noises during the amazing save. Why not start a $5 train while we're at it? Speaking of $5 train, Sushi Elemental donates $20 that says, 4 tickets for the $5 Super Monkey Ball donation train, please. I believe we are getting very close, so let's keep that train going. We're at 68,000 and we need 80,000. I know we can make it. I know we can make it happen. Let's get in that donation train going, guys. I really appreciate it. We have a $255 donation from Alex the Legion that says, for the battle against cancer, let's go gamers. Let's go gamers indeed. Indeed. Thank you, Papa Stratman, for your $100 donation. They say, so my mom is at one of her chemotherapy appointments right now. She was diagnosed with lymphoma a few months ago. She's a fighter and is improving, thankfully. This isn't a huge donation, but I know that when we all work together, we can make a big difference. Thank you to the organizers, runners, commentators, and especially PCF for all the hard work. Don't forget, guys, this is benefiting Prevent Cancer Foundation. All these donations you guys are giving, it's amazing what you guys are doing. We're at almost at 250,000, and it's all because of you. So thank you. Thank you for donating. Thank you for watching, for viewing, for supporting. The more we keep going, the more we are helping others. We have a $25 donation from Ben Theory that says, I am so excited for the Banana Mania run. It's gonna be so fun for me, and you. I love the puns. It's so great. An anonymous $5 donation that says, return to monkey. All right, everyone, it is my time to go. But I hope you guys enjoyed my shift. You are going to be having the lovely, the amazing a tea tree. Once again, don't forget to hydrate. Don't forget to rest. Stretch out those legs. Make sure you are eating. Don't skip out on that. That's very important. And don't forget, keep on donating. Keep on supporting. I am proud of each and every one of you. We are going to take a break, and I will see you guys next time.
Don't understand what's going on here. Don't understand. Don't understand here. Tilt like a boonga. Tilt. It's so easy. Tilt like a boonga. Tilt like you got it. I tilt like a Somebody got it. Like tilt like a. It's so easy. Somebody got it. Tilt like a bot. Tilt like a bot. Like a bot. Tilt like a bot. Like a bot. Tilt like a bot. Tilt like a bot. Like a bot. Tilt like a bot. You don't understand. Tilt like a bot. Like a bot. I tilt. I tilt. You don't understand what's going on here.
It's day 2 of AGDQ 2022 online, powered by Twitch. My name is Adef, and it's my great pleasure to inform you that you remain on gold split pace for donations at $250,000. We're also on pace for world records, I think, because so far we've got 2. Hey, wait. No. I promise we're not in a time loop again. I mean, even though the next runner has 2 runs on the schedule. Let me check my notes here. You know what else I hear we have 2 of? Incentives for Super Monkey Ball. But we only get to find out what the second one is if you unlock the game just as soon as possible. You know what I have to say about that? Ready? Go! Let's get those donations in. But first, a message from our good friends at the Yeti. Welcome back, everyone. If you're just getting here, this is Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 online, brought to you by Twitch and raising money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. I'd love to thank everyone who donated. You are doing amazing work helping prevent cancer and helping us make this event absolutely the best it can be. We are at $10,000 away, just under $10,000 away from that Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania unlock for the bonus game that I mentioned, with the help of folks like the Andersons, who donated $100 and say, super hyped about the Galaxy Luigi race later, but let's get this Super Monkey Ball run in. Hype! And Jen, who sent in $5 to PCF and says, Psychonauts 2 is such a special game to me. I hope this run can expose it to more people who might need to hear what it has to say about mental health, trauma, and regret. Here's to a good run. Thank you so much, Jen. I agree with every word of that. Now, to get you sufficiently hyped for our upcoming bonus game, we've got a live interview for Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania with ADEF, PetresInc, and Helix.
Hello, gamers of Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 online. I hope you enjoyed that Mega Man X4 100% run. I know I did. My name is ADEF, and we are joined by PetresInc and Helix, who will be racing Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania in just a little bit here. Gamers, this is going to be a bonus game, so you know what you got to do. We just have a little over an hour to get this met. The current total is $68,000 out of 80. We're somewhere around $10,000 to $20,000 away from it getting met. So let's get it met, gamers. We want to see more gaming. We want to see more speedrunning. And actually, the 2 of them are the most recent 2 Monkey Ball runners to be at mainline GDQs. And now they're duking it out in a race. Petres, Helix, how are we feeling?
Excited, obviously.
I'm feeling stoked. I'm ecstatic. This is going to be epic.
Excellent. I'm really excited for it. I love Monkey Ball, so I'm really excited to get to interview the both of you. So to start off, I'd love to hear how the 2 of you feel this speedrun differs from a more traditional Monkey Ball speedrun, say of Monkey Ball 1 or 2.
We were talking about this earlier, and Peter had a really good explanation, but I'm going to preface this with it's different, but still good.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I was thinking going into it, it's not going to be like the originals. You're basically going into it dealing with like an 8.5 out of 10 remake for a couple of 10 out of 10 games.
Sure.
Everything that's different is kind of fun and fresh and new. And as an old player who really, really enjoys the originals and understands how mechanically perfect they are, there's a lot you can learn to enjoy when you play this game as a speedrun and guaranteed as a casual experience. If you haven't played Monkey Ball in a very long time, this is a fine way to check it out again.
That's awesome. Love to hear that the series is returning to its roots. So Monkey Ball is a series with notoriously difficult levels and especially notoriously difficult individual level speed runs. And, I'd really like to hear from both of you what your favorite strat or maybe the most difficult strat is in the run for you and whether or not that is your favorite.
I guess I can go first.
Sure.
I think that my personal favorite strat in the entire run, I couldn't narrow it down to one, unfortunately. One of them, World 6-3 Opera, in my opinion, is probably the hardest strat in the run that everyone goes for. It combines the difficulty of the original game Opera, which involves a long form free fall strat from a really far horizontal and vertical distance, with Banana Mania's very different air control scheme, which is significantly harder. So finishing it is very, very satisfying. And another one is a strat I don't always go for called Epic Invisible, which I'm going to try to show off a little bit during this run. It's 10-9, second last stage in the run. It's a really cool strat that saves like 17 seconds or something, but it very rarely works. So, wish me luck on that, I guess.
Excellent. And Helix, your thoughts?
I have to say, I enjoy Entangled Path. Not necessarily because it's more fun to do than the rest of them, but the process of finding that strat, because it's normally like a 30-second level. It's absolutely terrible. But in Monkey Ball 2, we have a skip, and it takes like 6 seconds to complete the stage. The cycle is a little bit different in Banana Mania. So I spent like a solid amount of time the first week the game came out just trying to find something. And I found something very similar to the skip we do in Monkey Ball 2.
Oh, wow.
It takes a little bit longer, but it even seems a little bit easier. And so I don't know, the fact that I found it, the fact that it exists, it just lines up perfectly. It's really cool to pull off. So I'm excited to
There's always something satisfying about your own trick sort of being the meta for the level.
Yeah.
I hope all of you are taking notes. We'll know exactly which levels to be looking for in the run, of course. So I was looking through the leaderboards before this interview, and it appears as though the two of you have actually been sort of trading world records back and forth a bit over the last few months. So we'll start with you, Helix, but what would you say is a strong suit that you bring to the run that people should look to expect in the race from your gameplay?
Oh, boy. Well, I like to say I'm good at rails because of my Monkey Ball 1 experience. There aren't that many of those in the story mode run, though. I don't know if this is still the case, but I definitely spent a lot of time just trying to upgrade strats as much as I could and get consistent at some hard stuff. And so for a little bit, I had better strat play. Peter has definitely practiced a lot and caught up and currently has the world record. So.
Peter, from you, what do you think is your strong suit?
Gotta say, I rigged it from the get-go. Story mode in this game is identical to story mode from Super Monkey Ball 2, which is my main category before Banana Mania came out. So it's just totally something that I probably was going to have under control pretty quickly once I figured out the new game's physics. It's also a significantly long run, and I've always thought that I was a pretty consistent player. The current world record by me only has 3 deaths in it, which is like a bit less than I ever thought this game would reach, to be honest. It's a little bit janky and weird, but with a lot of practice, you can get consistent. That's kind of what I go for usually.
Excellent.
Yeah, three deaths is wild.
Well, maybe we'll see lower. Who knows? Mm-hmm. So now the question I'm about to ask, and honestly, GDQ gamers, you guys in the chat room, I brace yourselves because this question is pretty serious, and it's perhaps maybe, I don't know, might be the only important question that gets asked in an interview, at least by me, for this entire event. So I just want to make sure, Helix and Peter, you're both ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Hit me.
Okay. Now, disregarding extra characters that don't exist in Monkey Ball 1 and 2, between I, Mimi, Baby, and Gon Gon, who is the most important monkey?
It's Baby all the way. It has to be. No.
Yes, Team Baby. Thank you. Yes.
Absolutely typical baby brain response from a baby main. Every single time they immediately can't help but say Baby. You know why? because they have to train themselves to say baby all the time because they're constantly under attack for picking the obviously not superior character.
I
Baby
can't
not
believe
once
this.
in the game's lore, Baby not once has done anything remotely significant for rescuing Monkey Island. But Gongon actually single-handedly deactivates a bomb that was going to be used to blow up a volcano and then flood the entire island.
Baby's well in the future to warn them. Baby is the catalyst. Baby is the person who told them everything. That's why they're there.
All right, wait, gamers, save this heat for the race. Save this spice. I will say I'm now firmly on Team Helix because I'm on Team Baby, but Gongon is my second favorite. But regardless,
Gongon is really good.
thank you so much to the both of you for your time. Gamers, there is still time to get this bonus game met. You have the entirety of Psychonauts 2 and just a few $1,000s left to go. Please get Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania met. You're not going to want to miss this race. These two gamers are at the top of their game right now. And please keep enjoying AGDQ 2022 online. I've been ADEF. We'll see you later.
Thanks so much for that, everyone. I am so looking forward to rolling out and having a blast with all of you. ADEF is exactly right. We are just a few $1,000s away from that. We are, let's see here. The math say $7,300 and counting. So thank you so much, everyone. You're gonna make this happen. I believe in you. And then we get to see what that mysterious second incentive is. Woo-hoo. I hear it's a good one. Now, the people who are getting this hype train rolling are multitudinous, and I want to thank as many of them as I can, so here we go. Quench sends in $25 and says, let's get this Monkey Ball game played. Anonymous with a $250 donation to PCF and says, let's put those monkeys in balls. Where Ducky puts in $100 and says, it's a monkey in a ball, let's get rolling, chat. Kuiper donates $5 and says, am I too late for the $5 Monkey Ball train? No, Kuiper, you are just in time, and thank you very much. Good Guy 3 sends in $5 and says, I want on this $5 train. Choo choo! Or should I say, Thank you, Good Guy. Gotcha Basta sends in $25 with an order for 5 tickets for the $5 Monkey Ball train, please. This is for my family who've survived cancer, my grandpa and my stepdad's mom, and for the cat we lost to cancer 2 years ago. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Gotcha, and for your donation. And Sinra sends in $100 for 20 tickets to the $5 train bound for Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, please. Thank you for getting that train rolling, Sinra and everyone else. And one more here from Iggy Zig for $10, who simply says, Monkey Ball, Monkey Ball, Monkey Ball, Monkey Ball, Monkey Ball, Monkey Ball. Please put this donation towards Super Monkey Ball. You know, I think we can get that taken care of for you, Iggy.